Hi team, welcome everyone. Welcome to the first day for our AnyAUT certified tester training. Thank you so much, all of you being here. I believe it's the first time I'm doing a US morning session. So we're gonna spend about an hour and a half at least in the live. Plus there's gonna be a little bit about the project that we need to be working on and how we will do it. There is a specific schedule for the training team. We did have our orientation session earlier. So for those of you who have not seen it, we will host them all back on itelearn.com. My name is Karthik and I will be your trainer from ITlearn for the next few sessions. We are starting AnyAUT certified tester training, which is basically from our perspective, certified manual test engineer or QA engineer. Okay. When I say engineer, engineering comes with a set of tools and skills. It's not just a degree that's given by itself. So you become a certified manual QA engineer and your very early stages are set, well set for an automation grooming, for learning and mastering test automation. So that is predominantly what the whole program is all about. We spoke a lot about it during our orientation session, and we had a large Q&A too. But primarily in short team, it is a training that is focused to take you from absolutely no prerequisites. You do not have to really come with a specific skill. I have different age group of participants, right from millennials who are fresh out of the colleges or degree, all the way to experienced professionals 40 plus like myself, who are looking at change or progression in their career. The team, thank you so much for being here, and we will get started soon. All right, so and I want to make sure that as we go through this learning, we are able to understand why we're here. We're going to spend a lot of time, team. Just imagine, I'm saying 7 hours of training, but we have 7 days, 1.5 hour of training, at least an hour and a half for practice. There is a lot that we're doing. It is more like a 7 days training now. All right, let's put it as a program that we will really be able to leverage it in our career. So quick few poll questions, team, and then I want to talk about housekeeping too. Very basic housekeeping. I'm going to actually keep a document on this. It'll be easy for us, more like a reference. I don't really want to set any ground rules, but just that it becomes critical. What I believe very important, I'm going to start putting them here, team. You will get a clarity and the seriousness about this. This is what will groom you. When you get into JPAC program, we talk about personality, your resume and how you speak about it. So very simple, team. I'm just going to put them as bullet points. One, you need to participate really strong. And there are a lot of things that happen. So just listening is fine, but repeat again with practice. There's no question, team. So you have to do a lot of hands-on activities. You cannot get away from it. Second thing is be very, how do you say? Um, one word is serious or disciplined about it. Whole training. And this is something I'm expecting, team. And what do I mean by discipline? And when I say seriousness, it's very simple. Let me give an example. If you put a message on chat or write a doc or put a comma or a period, anything you do, I will observe, and so will other team members. When I say this, why am I emphasizing so much, team? It's very simple. 70-80% of the whole structure of the training is going to be the core subject, but your personality needs, I'm sorry, be showcased to a larger, sophisticated IT domain. And when I say IT world, the whole world there. And team, a lot of you people have exposure, have and know what I'm saying. People do not have exposure, but this is basic. I'm talking about give a lot of emphasis to any documentation that you do. All right. There's going to be a lot of team play. Now, there are very basic rules, team. Number one, remember that all are humans. We have ups and downs. And however, most important is project priority is critical. So instead of focusing a lot on, hey, you know what, that person or this individual could not deliver and that's why we could not, let it be a learning experience. Take on as much as you can. Okay. And believe me, team, when I say people spend 2-3 hours in the training, 80% of this group spends about 6 to 7 hours really working on things. Whatever you do, you're going to perfect it. You have to be a team player. Team, take on as much as you can when you can. All right. Be very supportive. It's easy to be a smart individual. I'm not going to use the other words, and try and just, okay, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm great talking. I'm here. Good. No, no, no. I'm great talking to team. I've spent most part of my IT career as a sales guy in IT sales. So I've been in that role where communication is the only breathing line for me. But when it comes to subject and technology and your core, it has to get into specifics and details. There is no question. So you be very supportive to the team and vision. And it is very clear, team. These are not very groundbreaking rules. I'm just emphasizing what are important. Other things like, be sportive, be aggressive, I think it will happen. We are beyond those. There are a lot of given team. But remember, I'm going to be looking at this. How are we approaching the whole thing? All right. Are we all in principle agreement, team? We will go slow. Let us keep it interactive. Structure it. All right. Um, for a good open discussion. Let's take notes, team. If you have, physically, like a book plus pen pencil thing. All right. The reason is they will stay with you. Take a fresh book. If not today, get one, team. Start writing notes. What I'm speaking about the subject when we're coming to it, let's talk about taking notes. And that documentation will be great referrals. Now, I want some team notes, team. All right. So whatever I'm going to do, I'm going to be sharing this folder with you all. And there are going to be team exercises that we will do. So initially there'll be subject, then there are activities that we need to do as part of training and so on. And after Halloween, we'll be going very deep into it. So team notes, what does this mean, team? Each day, let us maintain a good doc summarizing what we did or what we learned slash and what we did. The reason, team, this is important is amazing for quick referrals, especially before interviews. Okay. Now, there'll be a team Google Drive where all files open. Then there will be individual drive where we will measure you. What does that mean, team? Simple, your attendance things. Okay, we want to be able to capture it simple. All this comes to it, but I'm getting into it. Project, your resume, your refer project works, of course, project, when I say project work, your resume, your skill gap metrics. That's a very key important thing, team. Let me search once for the old one. Jan 29th is, would this be the latest one? If there's anything confidential, I'm gonna, okay, let's see. Oh, wow, yes. So something like this, team. Now, I think this is a good document to keep it handy. This document basically for all the members, we start filling in and it'll keep going. So this is only for the JPAC CSDT skill gap analysis as you go into the program. What are the different expectations that we have from individuals and where are we? And this list keeps growing. So this skill gap analysis becomes very critical, team. So we need to be able to do something like this. So I'm gonna keep, but this I can't share. At least I know skill gap analysis. Okay, so in here, I would want you all to make sure you keep your drive. How you organize it, we'll keep some standard formats. I will maybe keep mine. That way you can also see how I'm doing one. And one of you can volunteer and share. All right, simple housekeeping rules. At this time, any questions? Most questions. Let's talk about this too. Team, a few more. Most questions through chat. Um, when we are working on project work, then a lot of talk and screen share. So you can do that then. The only reason, team, we have when we have 100 plus audience, I just want to make sure that we use the time very effectively. All right. At this point, any questions? Okay. Hello, Karthik. I'm online from mobile. How will I do live project? Now, there's one thing, team. FAQ document. There was a FAQ document already created for work from home. But for our project, the team was creating. Anyone there else from my TLN team? They've been having crazy schedule. So team, a lot of you are writing emails individual. Do not do that, please. I request you. Get your questions compiled, wait for the right session, and then ask me. I will give you the right answers. Okay. So please ensure that we're working very, very clearly on that. Uh, training FAQ. All right. I'll just talk about FAQs here. Question, answer, then by. One more thing that I'll put here is tags. So I can know what question. Let us say how to join, like this question that I got on the chat for an example. I'm going to put it here. So, oopsie. Okay, this is the question. And so I'm going to shortly call myself KK team. Wherever you see that, that's representative of me. Answer, no problem. A lot of you could be mobile. Listen keenly. I do attend a lot of live trainings through my smartphones, a lot of meetings, team. I put my earphones. Okay, that's something I believe is critical. And um, take notes if you can. This I wouldn't stop. Okay, you cannot practice. In fact, I like personally to do it from a smartphone or iPad, because I wouldn't deviate him. For example, right now in my audience, I know who's attentive and who's not. There are people who have questions, and then there's a group of members who, anytime you switch your screen from the go-to training to the other screen window, team, any browser window, it basically lets me. Now, for example, you can check yourself. Any one of you switch back, I can tell you. Sunil, for example, is my one of my team members. You are watching a different window, not my screen, what I'm showing you, right? So that, like, at least a dozen of you doing it. That's fine if you have to switch windows, but that's the advantage that we have here. So I've kind of answered this here, team. Let more questions come in. I would like to put them, maybe answer them here commonly. I think it'll be more structured. I'm going to share this folder right now, team, with everyone. Okay, that's the first action I'm doing. Now, when I'm sharing this folder, please make sure, let's start with the FAQ document. Can edit, you need to edit, right? I'm going to copy this link. I'm going to put it into the chat and also into the Day-01 document. Where's the Day-01? Okay, here. This is our FAQ link. All right, team. So now you all have access to it. And as you come online onto that sheet, that's called FAQ, I can watch you here. So for example, right now, how many of you there? The few of you, okay? And you're joining in 8 of you. So take one, like you did within the first session, take one and fill this in. Now, while you're doing this activity, I'm going to pause the video for a couple of minutes and I'm going to take a poll question, team. Okay, there's nothing to see while your questions are being put here and I'll try and answer them as we go along. Tag is more about training, not technology. So it's just about training and how to join issues, So that's my tag for this. It's nothing about Selenium. It's nothing about AnyAUT. It's nothing about, so that is how I can easily tag later. It's easy to refer. All right, so while you're doing this, team, I request everyone to take that link. Any questions start putting, look at other questions also. This is answered by, do you want to put your name for question by? If you want, you can put it right after how the team is formed. Yeah, that's fine. These questions are fine. Let them come. Okay, all your questions, you can put it here. Pavan, Sunil, I think you guys are there, right? Can you please share the link for the FAQ document that we did for work from home? I think I can search too. Let's go here. Where did I put the work from home? No. Pavan, Sunil, why am I not getting a pushback from you? So team, while you're filling your questions there, can you fill all your questions there, team? I'm going to stop recording meanwhile. I was just running the poll, so I'm going to start recording with the results. I think you should be able to see the results on your screen right now, everyone. No? There's the Q&A still, right? Okay, polls, where is it? Share. Now, there you go. So most of you from US team, US, Canada, and I believe, so that's good. Very few people from other countries, but that's fine. That's the schedule that we've kind of put in. And let's work through this. Now, there is a few things that we're working on. I'm going to quickly hide this poll and get you back to the screen. So team, please, housekeeping, be very careful. I already saw some of you writing in others. So once you take your space, you see something is filled, go down, please. Okay. Now these questions are going to be here. I'm going to come to these questions. Let's get to them together. I don't think any of them are important from my perspective. They are your questions. They will get answered. But then there's a whole session that we have to focus. So let's get back to this. Schedule, I hope, is clear for everyone. And that should not be a question. On your GoToMeeting webinar, you can look at your schedule. Any change in the schedule at our end, we will change it in the GoToWebinar, and that will notify you through email. So please make sure that you add both. So where's this link for FAQ document? Let me get that from chat. Put it back here. What was that? Schedule. Changes will be updated through GoToWebinar. So keep that in mind. Add learn at itelearn.com and sales.elearn at gmail.com, please, to your contacts in emails. The reason is you wouldn't get our emails otherwise. And after the training, you could decide to do what you want, but till then, keep them there. Now, um, so your schedule is very fixed, team. That's what we're going to do, 8:30 to 10:30 a.m. And this is the time. There's an evening batch too that will primarily be a replay of this. So whatever video we're doing, the team is going to spend a couple of hours and putting it back onto our website. That will get telecasted, and I will try and do a live Q&A. But the same things apply. The documents are all there, and this is the housekeeping document, and we have the day 1 document. All right. So schedule is as is in go to webinar. Your FAQ link is here, and housekeeping link that we kept here. So team, I'm trying to keep things very organized. If I give you access to this folder, I expect the same. We'll make early mistakes, but make sure that we do better as we go along. Right. Also at tax team, what is this topic about? Team is formed. So this is about live project. Okay. And team. So just put those tags. Now, I thought, okay, this is answered by the other column. The reason I'm putting this team is the first question was not asked by me, it was asked by one of the members. I said I answered it. These are regular questions right now, which is general. Okay. I want you to create, or rather, I'm gonna duplicate this and now rename this to technical subject questions. And don't put anything here. The sheet is for later. All right. So I'm just going to delete all this rows. It's blank. Okay. So if it is red, that means it's for later as we go along. All right. Don't be in a hurry to fill anything in here. The sheet 1, which are generic FAQs. Let's put them here. As we get, this is for FAQ, ACT live training. How are we doing? And so on. There's a training team. It's also project. For me, both are together, but I need to teach a lot of things before I make you enabled to be able to deliver anything. How do we deliver them? So put your questions here. I'm trying to make sure that word wrap is on. Where's word wrap here? View. There should be word wrap. Format. Text wrapping. Wrap. So that way it goes into multiple lines. Okay. I did it for the entire sheet. All right, that's cool. So team, your FAQ sheet is there. You're filling in that. I've not shared anything else here in the AACT folder. I wish to share the whole thing as we go along. Housekeeping document, more for you to reflect on. Have I shared this link? Let me put this link also for you. This you cannot edit, teams. Just view this. All right. Anything that you particularly think. So now team, if there are generic questions about the trainings and all that, big question. Let me ask you this now. Just answer yes, no. I'll look at it and then take it. Do you want me to fill in the FAQs right now? Let's finish this for today. I mean, today means then we'll get into something else, or can we get into the other sets of things? Yes to do FAQ together. No to do others. Like go ahead with the topics and live training. I'm just trying to see all the names, and I'm very glad most of you have it. So I am then assuming that all the questions that you asked so far are well parked here, and we will not miss any question. But for us, it is important to focus on the training. So let's get into that aspect. Correct, everyone? Yes. So I'm keeping it that. So at least all of you said no to FAQ filling live. So nothing is very, very critical, ground shattering. We can continue with the session. Any questions, fill it here. You have both the links in your chat. All right, great. So now team, let's talk about the topics. What is it that we will learn? One quick review. I think we mentioned a few out here. No, this was more of this. But then the topics that we were talking about has been updated on GoToMeeting 1 with all of these. But then I want to create a nice sheet here in our Google Drive. What are the topics that we want to learn and what is it that we learn? And each day we fill that team. Okay. Now, how do I do that? I showed you one sheet, right? JPacked and CSDT. So I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to make a copy of this. I'm going to call this as JPacked 8. I don't know how many of you will be members. ASCT members. And I'm going to move this to my folder. Nice. All right. No. Okay, I'm going to move it here. So team, I'm spending a little time in organizing. You all have to be extremely organized the same way. Documentation is critical. I've put both the links on chat. I'm going to put them back. That's one. You have to copy paste it because it'll come that way. So I'm not looking at the chat. If there's any major question, please raise your hand. Till then, I'm going to put all your hands down too. Okay. So if your hand is raised, that means there's something critical. I need to be looking at it. Till then, I'm putting it down. All right, team, let's get going. So JPacked this document now. Certified Selenium Developer. So I'm going to ignore this part, but it's got preliminarily what is it that we're expecting, team. So what cell is this? Why is this so big? I mean, okay. Yeah, fundamentals, final. So there are a few details. Delete. Fundamentals. Fundamentals, what is final? Topics. Okay. I think this is a good one to keep. Foundation, advanced. Let's call this as the topics team. Okay. Now this is basically what are the topics we will cover, we have to learn, and let's expand on them, some of these. All right. And what I will do out here is, let's call this, ratings will come to later. Skill gap. So skill gap is nothing but the same topics, right, Tim? Does it make sense? What we will do here, I'm not gonna, is exactly what you have to learn. So I'm just gonna call that. Yes, reset. Okay, everything is set here. Now, what is it? Okay, Karthik, live/videos. Some of these you have access to. Let's talk about SDLC and STLC. This I have to do live. This is where we will start with team. The way I plan to do this, I'm writing fewer words right now and talking more. So please listen to my words carefully. SDNC and STLC is a very critical team. This is going to be the highlight for us, the fundamental starting point. So some of you will see it irrelevant, but then we will try and talk about it in today's world. Okay, we're talking about very specifically in maybe tomorrow's world. How is it going to be? We will talk about, of course, we'll come towards Agile and Scrum as a topic and try and learn, but we will start working more. So remember, team, we may not be learning from an interview perspective, but more from an overall process. How does a QA project work? All right. Test cases, test steps, test scenarios. Very, very critical team. How do we write those documents? This is where we'll spend a lot of time. Okay. And yes, all these details are also there in this website, itlearn.com/AnyAUT. It has to be there exactly in that format. I think this is the page that got updated, team, with our Q&A and so on. So you can look at this, and a lot of these are here. I'm going to make sure that if there's anything missing, I want to make one thing, one document out of it. This, of course, how do we write? We're going to spend a lot of time on this practically. The do's and don'ts, how do we do? Out here, there's a lot. Okay, defect life cycles there. Test plan, test strategy. This is relevant when as we talk about additional documentation. We'll talk about agile methodologies. How do we work in such kind of a projects? Okay. Scrum. How do we have our regular meetings? What is the whole approach towards Scrum way of looking? Types of testing. I think we have to cover this thing. Basics, like, right from manual. What all are there, team? Can you all tell me? I'll start putting it. I'm going to look at the chat. Let's think about the types of testing and see how easy it will be for us to just now create. And team, all this documentation, you'll find it. You just have to search through the internet and get all this. Let's put it into a Google Drive. All right. So some very good, let's say, referral notes. This is what I was saying, right? Here, I'm going to create one. Rename acronyms. So don't save your time for a minute, please. Don't put anything here in your chat. We'll put it in the sheet. Okay. Acronym. Category. Acronym. Acronym is right? A short word. Definition. And how do we give an interview answer, team? This becomes important. Now, these two things, this is, for me, from my perspective, a little reddish. This, from my perspective, is the greener pasture that you need to look at. And these two are big from a column size. So I'm going to do a little bit there. Team, I spend a little time here, so you have to excuse me. I do take time in ensuring everything's filled. Category acronym. So here, testing types. All right. I'm sure we'll fill dozens of them, team. And let's say and all these are testing types to begin with. There'll be dozens of them. So let's say we're talking performance. Let's start with manual testing. What is manual testing? Definition. Performance testing. See, what is the definition of performance testing and how do I give an answer? To see layman terms, not very, very ISTQB types, to check if the application or test can handle bigger payload. Okay, can be many users, large files, API calls, bad coding. All these things could lead to it. But how do I give an interview answer is basically that, yeah, PT is on, is blah, blah, blah. And then the next sentence, team, is I worked in a project used in a project using, let's say, JMeter or whatever open source tools that you want, or any like load runner, whatever you want to mention, team, whatever you did. And for this AUT in such and such domain and so on. So you have to relate back a question that is asked to your experience, team. No one wants to learn from you in an interview panel. They want to see what is it that you know and have you ever worked on it. So I don't want them to ask me 20 questions on performance testing. If they ask me 2 questions, I should be able to know that it is important for them and I can give a longer answer and keep checking and looking at their eyes and see if are they still with me or shall we move on? All right, team. So now this sheet, please fill it here. I'm going to share this also with all of you. Can edit, copy link, copy it. I'm going to put it into chat. So team, the question of what are the different types of performance testing, testing itself, just put it here. So that in our sheet, I can go back and update. Do we know all types of testing? And here, referral notes doc. It's there for us. Let's look at it. App lifecycle test management tools, team, HPALM. I don't have great exposure to it. Live No, I don't think I can do it. Videos, amazing videos are existing that we will get scheduled. But yes, in live, I and team, again, if you don't have a video membership, I can't provide. All the videos that are put on YouTube are the ones that are coming. So what are the ones which we are sure covering? I'm talking about live. We will see how Jira works. I want to take you to take a look at how it works a little later towards the innings, more towards when it comes to AnyAUT. Traceability metrics, perfectly yes. Defect life cycle, yes. Shift left, okay. Let's talk about SD, okay. Shift left, SDET as a concept, you should understand, team. You should understand DevOps concepts. What are these concepts? Basic concepts, terms. I'm not saying that you have to be an expert, okay. Now, when you get to ACT, you'll understand the efficiency, reusability, accuracy concept of automation. We will talk about frameworks, automation frameworks, what, how, when to use them. Okay, so that we will cover because AnyAUT is built on them, built on these frameworks. So whatever we keep teaching as automation frameworks team, it primarily goes into this product. We'll focus a lot of time on Selenium IDE plus automation basics, record and run, and so on. HTML test case editing plus JavaScript. Nah, this we don't need, but we'll need something else. We'll also look at Catalan Studio Ide and how it works. All right. Record and run is very simple, team. Write your own tests. That is what I will emphasize. We will look at this. But again, City, this is starting to automation, right? We have to focus a lot. And element identification is the biggest thing, team. How we work with element identification, Firebug and Firepath. This seems to be a pretty old, thing, but Firebug, Firepath, not so much in today's world. A lot to do with every um, inspect element. It's there with every browser, on any browser. How do we identify them? The different ways. This takes a lot of effort, team. So all this we have to cover live. All right. So we will have, as you see, for example, test cases will write basics, but then when we come down, you will see that we will get better at it. So we will again be doing some basics like test cases and test planning at the back. Test planning, test strategy, more towards project team. Okay, let's keep it interactive. Let's keep it actual. We'll see how we can take it. This is all live. All right. Now, Foundation Firebug, Firepath, we don't need. Exporting to Selenium WebDriver, no. There's no more something called exporting. Okay, you have to get into Firebug, Firepath. We don't need these. We don't need any of these team. I'm talking about what's existing today. What are the other things that we mentioned? I don't want to miss anything while I'm doing this. Wow, this is an amazing job, team. See, as a team, you and I would have thought about 5, 6, 10, 12, 13 names. Look at how many we filled, and I rightly went on till here, and it's going. So let it go, team. Amazing. This is where, as a crowd learning, we can add value, and we can talk about what definitions we can put. Almost like a simple our own internal Wikipedia. These are acronyms, team. Then we'll talk about most of the things should get covered here. This is on testing types. If we change and add another category, then we can add more. Great, good going. All the testing types are here. Let us ensure as we go through, when we interact on a specific thing, we will learn them practically. I don't know who's team. I'm very specific on questions. Please let them be specific. I cannot handle individual answers. I have shared the notes. I'm showing you. Everyone clear so far? Let me recap. This is my main folder, ASCT. Okay, and let me rename it so that it is easy. I'm going to call this as ASCT. It's still October, right? 2018. In this, I'm going to maintain all the documents that we need. 2 documents, 3 documents that I shared with you. 2, I think. Yeah. One is ASCT live training, FAQ document, and referral notes. This is for you. In the referral notes, you're filling in the testing types out here. All right. So that's where we are so far. Okay. If you are in an iPad or a smartphone, if you are unable to do it, I'm sorry about it, team. All right. Go back offline. Once you're there, then you can participate. I'm not sure if that was an issue, but I usually take polls, but then clicking on a link, going to the browser, if you're not signed into Google Drive or so, yeah, maybe a challenge. All right. I don't want to defocus from the main topic. So team, let's get back. What do we have? So we are talking about the topics are coming together. Where are they? Okay, this is our sheet. This is where we are. Eclipse. So here, I think here is where team, I'll start doing from SLT. If I have a good audience, I will continue the same in the morning batches. All right. Now here, there are a lot of things that I may not cover. Team Core Java, JUnit, TestNG, yes. Okay, yes. DevOps, Maven, Jenkins, GitHub, I may not. I will have to get Shankar to do some of these. Okay, web services and so on. Projects we will do team. DevOps and so on. This will mostly be done by Shankar. A few on DevOps, Maven, Jenkins, all part of it. Database team. Shall we do any SQL here in Foundation? I'll try team. I will not promise. All right. When I say live, that means that I'll be doing it. This is fine. I'll do the basics. Basics I think we can try and cover live. Okay, all right. Because I think it's important in today's world. Web services. Okay. Again, basics. Let me see, team. I mean, the list is almost endless, right? So I'll just, okay. I won't promise anything here. I'll just put this as a question mark. I don't know yet. Fair team. So what is it that we're going to learn? Let's kind of sort them now. Uh, where is the sort filter? Okay, filter. Yes, thank you. That's good. All right. Sort. View. Data. Sort sheet A to Z. Okay, there you go. No, then the other way. C to A. Okay, foundation. So I'm gonna check up on these. What's this? Something. Foundation. Till here, I would say let's do it. I mean, we'll try to cover team. If it takes, like I always promise, if it has to take a couple of additional days, then that's fine. All right. These advanced topics, not yet. We're not getting into that yet. Different fonts. Looks like it came from different. I like Giorgio Verdana. Let's say. Okay. So team, again, like I'm saying, this is my practice of ensuring that everything is well maintained. I assume the same to come from you all right? So keep it well documented. Now here, I'm going to put another folder and I'll call this a team folder. And I'll try and have you all accessing to it. Now let's get back to it. So team, big questions will come our way. Now, where are we? Referral notes, yes, great job team. Testing types. If there's already something, we'll clean it up. Don't worry. If you think it's repeating, check it out, but most of them seem to be repeating. So see if you can maintain it to be unique. I have done twice. Jetpack, 8A, city member, skill gap, okay. So here, little basics of few more things, team. Any suggestion, anything that we could add? I'm gonna put it there. You won't find any link in your drive till you add it, and do not ask me those questions on didn't find it, team. I will share. Okay, I'm scared to share this whole folder. People will not know. They will drag and drop. You'll destroy it. So get on with slowly. And please, questions, try and put them here. All your questions out here, please. Now let's go back. Housekeeping. We've done this. I'm going to close this. Topics, yes, great. We've got them here. So now this is set for us. Let's start with the training team. So anything that we're doing as a training, let us put them into a folder. So it's easy for us to do it. I call my trainings as project. And this is our first project. And yes, it may be just a manual project. So I'll just talk about manual testing. What does a project always start with, team? Let's have a simple plan. Project plan for a novice. What is the structure that we want to bring to it? What is it that happens? What are the first things that are important for a project team? Let it be interactive. Now use your chat to put questions and let's start answering them. First things of a project. What comes first into a project? Multiple things, and it doesn't have to necessarily be let's identify them and put it. All right. So I see requirements. There is something called as a plan. There is problem and a solution idea. So if there's a problem or there's a solution, if there's a solution, there's no problem, right? So yes, if a problem is this, then solution has to come later. So that's two different. You have your scope. The different things I think will okay. BRD, user story. Let's talk about wow, so many things. We combinedly know everything. We just have to put them into the right learning. Case design, or what we also call use case design. FRD, BRD, FRD. Okay. Tool. What is the tool? Tool. All right. Now, what is testing team? Where does that come then? So we think the first things on a project are something around here. Then where does testing come? What are the first things in testing? Verification. Test strategy. Wow, there's so many. Test plan. Bug identification. Test execution. Reporting. User stories again out here too. Okay. Test cases. Test environment. Wow, it's endless. Huh? Defect report. Okay. Bug identification, defect report, kind of same. So I'll put it here. Actually, not the same. See, defect report is a report. Bug identified, a defect report. Defect tracker. What's next? Defect closure. Okay. I'm just writing whatever you're saying, team. What else? Traceability metrics. RTM, requirement traceability metrics, as is what it is. Regression runs, yeah. Then there's, of course, so many things. Test scenario. Wow, phenomenal. Metrics. Yep, metrics, dashboards. Clients may ask for it. Test summary report, perfect, yep. Verification and validation. I mean, first things on a testing project. Oopsie. First things on a testing project. Now, there are all these things. Now, integration testing team, API integration. Then we have the blah, blah, blah. Okay, all the types of testing. So let's keep it there. Now, I'm not talking types of testing team. So unit testing or black box, white box, nothing. Let's keep them there. Let's talk about this now. What comes first in a project team? Of course, any project we're talking about, a project is what team? Some kind of a problem has occurred first. I think that comes first. There's a problem. You see, there is a pain somewhere. Okay, there is a pain, and we know there's a lack of right solution. Correct, everyone? Then it becomes a basic requirement. You build what you do as business requirement document, and team, this is still very functional requirement document. It's still very boring from a text perspective, but we will improve. Once I write the order, I will go back and let's talk about it as a diagram. Then we can talk about a plan. What plan? There can be, what plan will be there? There is a design. Okay, so plan, solution, scope, user story, case design, tools. So then we go about execution. Now, primarily SDLC team. All this I think are not very relevant as of now. Just at the beginning, I think this is typically what you see. Don't you think so? What do you see at the end team? What do you see at the end of an IT project? What do you see at the end of an IT project? Final product, perfect, right? What we call also go live. Yep, UAT, all those are done much before that. So completely done. Now, what about for the first thing for the testing project we spoke, right? Now, where do we start testing? It can start with a test plan, maybe. Very high level. It could be a two-liner to a 200-page document team. Does not matter, but some kind of an agreement. We will then get into maybe a strategy, verification, validation, and so on, come pretty much late. What kind of a strategy? User stories. I think even this comes up very beginning, test environment. All right. How are we doing so far, everyone? Now, let's take a minute or two and understand how this works. Can I try paint? Do I have paint? Like fresh paint is there. Let's see how good am I at this. My cafe is killing me, man. Oh, this is good. I'll try my best with the mouse. Let me take a different color team. What color can I take? Okay. All right. So we're talking about IT team, right? And before I talk about what is at the end of a testing of a testing project. See, there's development in it, there's testing in it, there's BA. So IT project is a big mothership. At the end of a testing project team, what is it? Error-free product, correct. So final product and all that, error-free or defect-free product, right? Now, see, we are very clear that this is what we want. If we are able to convince that the IT project goal is not a final product or going live, is going live with the error-free or defect-free product and the importance of it. Do you see the clear difference? When I asked where we started, we were all over the place, but where we need to end, we all have the same thing. Either final product to go live, like typically we see happens with the any IT project, but then if we are importance of it for IT world to understand this, okay, to understand this and the need for QA. Will we do it manual or automation? Will tools do it, or us humans will get paid for it? Is another question. But the basic importance, it will be struck there. And this is very critical, team. Remember that. That is the language. Your core motto objective is to work on generating an error-free or defect-free product. When it's released, you don't want upset end users. Maybe we have upset developers, BAs, ourselves, the whole people, chaotic product, but our intent is not to upset the end users team, right? I'll take a lighter shade. All right. So very critical for you to get that in the mindset. Now, let's talk about any application as a project. I'm talking about any application starts with a pain point, correct team? Now, when we talk about a problem, what could a problem be? And how do we go about identifying such a problem that came up with a solution towards the end? And what gets released is a solution, but between this problem or pain that we have is something that is important for us. What is that, team? So pain, who has developers won't start with pain. The end users that a company realizes that they document it and come all the way and solve that problem, and that solution creates them to be able to monetize the entire transaction, right? That's where they're making the dollars in the solution. So this is our solution. Our most important thing for a QA engineer team is something in between called what? Can someone fill the remaining two? There are three characters in it. What is the team? What in between this IT product from a pain to an amazing solution comes in between? Is your application? Let me see how many of you wrote right answers. Not an analyst. Now, team, how come? I'm little surprised that very few people are answering this. How many of you are actually working on it? A lot of effort. No, the three words, the hangman game. What comes next? Tell me what is the next letter. It is AUT team. You cannot forget that. It is application under test. See, if there's no application under test, just imagine, will there QA be? It doesn't require testing. They're saying, will developer develop on the same version and QA also? That doesn't differentiate AUT. AUT is basically, there's an application that requires testing. What kind of application requires endless team? For us to understand how to master and work on this as software test engineers, we have to be very, very AUT focused. All right. The application and a test, all the documents that are coming to us till here. Okay, all these documentations that are coming here in kind of making it, and we being the middle layer in ensuring that the final solution is correct. So we are somewhere in between. Of course, there's development team here, the BAs out here, we have the DevOps and the release managers out here, there's the database admins everywhere. There are multiple roles. We are not worried about that. And for those of you who are hearing it for the first time, maybe have not gone in depth into it, we will talk about it. Let's get the basic point. So we are here. Now for our project, I want you to vote and think about a sample application test, which we can take and start talking about it. Okay. So the most important thing, team, is application test, your command. And believe me, there is one thing which a lot of you are not aware. The secret success for software test engineers is to become a QA analyst. Analyst, right? Who were the first analysts that we spoke about, team? Business analysts. Remember? Who are business analysts, team? Question. Now, let's write in this document, technical questions, FAQ now. Where's the other one? Referral notes. Testing roles, testing types. The people, you're putting a lot here. All the team members, thank you so much for participating, everyone. And now comes what? Testing roles. The different roles, right? No, I'll say IT roles. Who's a BA / business analyst? Talk about it, team. We'll talk about all of this. BA is someone who kind of understands what that pain is. Wow, I'm so stupid. Team, you know what I did? Just I'm telling you how stupid we can be at tools sometimes. I opened two things. One, I opened Fresh Paint. I have not used anything out here to draw on Fresh Paint, but just as a background, I used Go to Webinar and I drew that. So this is not captured, but it's still there. All right, what was it I was saying? So when we get the pain, it is very, very disclassified. It is not clear. It is, all over the place. We don't know how to handle it. The BA kind of puts it into a structure, very nicely gathers the requirements and kind of documents it. So that is the criticality of a BA. The criticality of a BA is because how much that person knows about the application, the domain king, that application, an authority on it. Okay, the king of the app. All right. Now, QA is the other person in this entire IT process and role who also flair to be the same, because remember one thing, team, if you do not know your application well, you can never be qualified enough to test it. Just imagine if your any utilities are broken at home, or you need someone to come and test your ceiling leakage, or you will get experts, right, who know their subject, who know what they're doing. A QA engineer has that role, team. You are the gatekeepers. So if we do not show that we are a king or queen of the application under test, that we know the application so well, we are not creating something called as retention, team. Remember, how do we stay and continue to add value? A lot of people try and stay in jobs but then add value. That is me. If I don't like or feel I'm adding job, team, typically I would sign out before I get another job. But how do we keep doing that? And one of the core things is your domain knowledge. To get retained and to get liked is build your skill. All right. So team, at this point, I just want you to take a minute and do one more exercise for me. I know I'm doing a lot of these things. We'll get very, very detailed, team. We're still in the day one, about an hour into it. Is it okay if I quickly erase this picture? I think you can take a snapshot, each of you. I can take a snapshot too. Let me use snipping tool. Okay, cool. Thank you. I'm going to use this. Just keep it for us, team. So it's there for you to refer. That's the main thing. Let me save this in work. Okay, in IT learn. For now, I'll just put it here as a new folder. ACT. Oops. Team, how good are you at typing? That's the other thing I'll come to. There are a lot of these things that I really want to talk about as we keep going. Your typing skills are very critical. We will do a typing test one day. All right. Now let's go back to here. Acronyms. What is it that I wanted you to do? Application test. Team folder. Oh, sorry. No, not in team folder. Why will I do it there? I'll do it here. So team, very simple. Again, interactive. We are trying to make sure that AUT select our app. Okay. Now there are multiple apps, team, that we can take. Talk about an application or a test sample. All right. That we can use for project one. All right. Only for project one. Now I want you to suggest the app, put a domain name and put votes for it. Okay. How do we put votes? I don't know. If you see a number, just keep adding your name, maybe just initial like KK, SP or names, however you want. I'll put my name. That's easy. Then like this, keep adding. Now, what do I mean by team? Very simple. We have to choose an application that we want to take to learn from. There are many applications that we have. Things like right from facebook.com, you can go to paypal.com, monster.com, dice.com. You can do what all, team? LinkedIn, Twitter. What is the application that you want to choose? Put that name here. For example, I've got a few, and we're doing manual testing, so it really shouldn't hurt us too much. There is a document. I'm going all over the place. Okay, not this. Yes. See, we have got things like our own applications that I'm working on right now. These are, see, applications that I can give you referrals on once you work on them. All right. But then it can be anytime. It doesn't have to be right now. qaonair.com is very active onto it. So these are a couple of them. Anything else you feel, can you please put them here? Can edit, copy link. Put an application and a test out here, team. So for example, someone said, what was that? Whatever I'm hearing, I'll put it here. Amazon.com is there. There are client ones I will not use, team, right now, unless we get into projects. Okay. Then there are simpler things. Remember one ground rule to learn basics. Let us say you're learning bicycle, team. Okay. Would you get it onto a racetrack, like big one, go really fast? You would try and do it in a parking lot or on a lawn with someone, right? Focus on things that are easy to understand, and we can spend more time in learning the basics of testing and how we do it. Okay. See, paypal.com, I'll give you, team. You can't sign up, you can't log in without test data, right? Where do you have the test data, team? Remember. So, team, I'm going to take a break for a couple of minutes while you're all filling this sheet. The few sheets that I've shared, I'm going to pause the recording also and come back to you. And I'm also going to be on mute. So just think of it. Keep adding what you think. You can add your votes. So let's say more votes you can add. Same thing. Add votes. 1 vote per column. We'll take 1. Maybe I'll have to choose something. Okay, there's so many things. Let them come, team. Let's understand this. All right, I'll be back shortly, team. I got back to recording for a quick couple of minutes. Just want to let you know, thank you so much, all of you, filling in. A lot of votes are coming in for many of them, team. So, see, team, the main advantage, like I was mentioning earlier, are these applications that I have are products that we're developing. And in fact, so is AnyAUT itself. I didn't mention because it'll confused. At the end of it, why insert 3? I just need 1. But I need 3. I'm sorry, I'm inserting at the above. We have AnyAUT.com, okay, which is the current version orange. Then there is an unannounced version called Peach that has been in the lab for ages, eons. And the new version that we're planning, I've not named it yet, AnyAUT.com/ I don't know. What will I name it? Let's say 2020. Okay, just let's say that. Okay, I hope it will not interfere with the port numbers somewhere. Now, team, primarily the reason these are there is it doesn't matter. If not this project, some project will get in. I'm going to look at the others. Okay, so these project for later. Because the constantly members working on this project. So all you have to do is just be part of that going stream. Let me make sure that this row is, so that's why how quickly I learn, and I learned and I put it froze the first row, top row. All right, there you go. So we're getting these things, team. Let's look at something interesting, team. Out of this, I'm going to quickly try and see if I can at least mark something here with yes or no. Amazon, Indeed, eBay, Geico, Gmail, forget it. Don't even want to touch it. Online.city.com, I'll see how it is. Best Buy, I haven't seen. Google is absolutely way. Is this a website? Etsy, I've never seen. Blue Cross Blue Shield, very boring. Monster is interesting. Make My Trip is, again, Avanade, I haven't seen. LinkedIn can be interesting because there's a lot that's happening with LinkedIn, team, that we can do. Glassdoor is interesting. To Work Police, I haven't seen. Facebook, Little Standard, Dice, Macy's, Yahoo, free CRM. CRMs are interesting, team. Let's see how much we can do. Redbuzz.com. I think it's a little bit multiple applications, just not web. So again, we're not talking web or multiple applications, team. We're just talking testing in general. So okay, wow, This is unlimited. I couldn't even come. Zip Recruiter. Can I open some of these and see? Flightstatus.com. Never seen this. Could be a decent sample. If it's simple and easy to understand for everyone, then I'll focus somewhere else. But this is gone, like a few other domains. Even I've been losing a few domains, team. At a time, we have almost had about 120 domains. And then, because we do a lot in the digital marketing space as well. Let's see, United Airlines, United, okay. Something out here, easy CR, free CRM. Let's see, what is this? Is this there? I'm gonna get this out. Work police. Work police, what is this? I don't know. Let's look at, and see, some of these I have to go as a, on a private window. Free CRM. This is got, I think it's pretty broken, team. Sorry. I mean, just the look of it, I know it's a little broken. See? I don't even know how the product is. So for now, can I drop it? Yeah. So free CRM now. Sorry. Yahoo, Macy's, Dice, Workpolice, Glassdoor. Let's try this Glassdoor. I've never seen it, but I'll go to a private window. That way. Okay, nice. Oh, it lets you find jobs, is it? Is it like that? I'll try avanade.com too. Let's try this. I'll keep that open. Oh, free CRM, this is good. Sign up. Okay, how it works. Company CRM, I see. Nice. Nice. I'm sure a lot of, oh man, it's so heavy. It's big. It's nice. I mean, it's definitely got features. This doesn't have all the stuff that we want. So I'm free CRM, I'm closing it for now. Avanade, make a genuine human impact, solutions, technologies, and capabilities. What is Avanade? Business workplace experience solution. It looks like a business corporate website, right? Not very rich from a functionality where we have to really put in a lot of mind to a team. So that Avanade now, unless I go into a tool. See, I didn't say AnyAUT.com. I said AnyAUT.com/orange or peach. There's nothing really to test on AnyAUT.com. Here's AnyAUT.com team. Okay, it's a standard corporate website, talks about the product. So for me, what is there to test is the application once it starts from orange, the sign up, the login, and post login, what are the features? How do we test? It's a large application, so we will come to it anyways. So let me see a couple more. Any suggestions on the chat while I'm seeing this? There's a lot of documents, and team, we can take a few of them to practice also. Let's see. I like this one, Glassdoor. Should we try this? Etsy.com. I thought that was a spell mistake. What was that? Handcrafted vintage custom. It's on Etsy. I see. Nice. Is this the one? Etsy? Pretty neat e-commerce, is it? A lot of categories. Wow. So when I'm thinking, I make that sound, team, because it'll be quiet, right? On the webinars, I've been doing it for long now. All right. This is nice too. Little automations we have registered, we have signed in. But then I don't have test data. So we have to kind of do a few things. Okay. All right, team, let's talk about which one, Glassdoor or Etsy. We have like two choices. Mortgage calculator team, when we go to automation, right, when we have to do some Java learning, variables and so on, at that time, that kind of a data will help me with numbers in it. Numbers will help us learn the programming easy. Here, we can do a lot with just text, right, and business logic. Company's salary. Why does it show? Oh, mine. Okay. Glassdoor. Glassdoor. Let's see. Let's see, Glassdoor, Interact. We'll come to some of these Interact and other applications a little later, team. Um, Interact is a good application too. I wouldn't deny it. You want to try that? I can get you a test version also in Interact we can create, but it's still to be tested. So which one you want, team? AnyAUT is good because we can learn AnyAUT software and testing both perspective. That is correct. Let's do a few on Glassdoor, then we'll go to Interact. All right, team, or AnyAUT itself. Let's do a few on Glassdoor first while, okay? Because majority is saying the same. I request all of you to go quickly. Now, here's what is we're going to do. We're going to take this application and be working on this. So I want you all to take a couple of minutes and go through it, understand what it does. And then we'll talk about this application and more focusedly on as an application and a test. Okay. Questions. Did I answer a question? No, I should have put it here in chat. I'm sorry. Send. Which was the question that I answered that way? I'm sorry. Some question. Etsy.com. Okay. No, Glassdoor. Okay. All right, team. So take a minute. I want you all to go through this. See what is it that we can do. There are a few features. You know what I'm talking about, right? In basic software testing. So even if you're new to it, look at it. This application must work. Looks amazing. I mean, the UI, everything very clean, very presentable. Team, next time you don't see this record button on, please remind me because I just forgot to start recording. And I've kind of said that for us, most important is to understand which application. We have gone through a few applications and we've finalized Glassdoor to kind of work on it for the next 1-2 days maybe. And then we'll see if there's a need for us to move on. And for that application, I said, let's talk about the application and test. What are we doing? About job search portal, open review systems by employees. There is a pane that is basically, what could it be? Big market, new challenger, better UI, or how I put it as UX. That's how they're looking at it. Glassdoor, they're coming into market where a Dice, a Monster, a Career Builder have been there for long. So they're coming with more smarter, I don't know, AI versions, just assuming. See, some of these are assumptions when you're not in the project, and that is fine. Okay, but you have to get the core picture. Your real world will be no different from this team. They will just say, okay, here's the application. Don't go around asking, I don't see this document, I don't see that document. You have it, you have it. You don't, then you have to be self-explorative. Is that clear, team? I'm very, very clear about the fact of how important it is to be constant learners about the application and why it's being created. So for the application, every application, there are core functionalities that will come up to, which is very, very critical. That is their USP. They don't want their USPs to fail. Okay. What is their USP? What is their key? Open review, maybe their thing. Okay. Review is a web app, web portal, looks and works like web portal, handling job search, career related stuff. What else is there? Feedback, things, review, whatever, right? This is how it is. Now, so far we're looking at Glassdoor as a name, a URL, a front page, or if you go down this logo out here, right? Isn't this how we're looking at Glassdoor? But is it what it is, team? Don't you think this application is built over a period of time? See, I don't know if you've seen when I went to About Us earlier and I was going through look at how they have been developed, and I scrolled down and I looked at their company timeline. They started in 2008, pretty much around the same timeline that I started my organization, team. It's funny to look at, but look at their growth, look at their initiative and how they've come up with it and how they have structured funding, adding new functionalities, feature, getting into different countries, team. Okay, a lot of Europe expansion has happened, and I think that's where, if you see, this capture is coming. I don't know when they came into India as well in South Asia. But this is good. The reason this is important is you're getting a feel of the application. So you're part of how this company got created. That's how I would look at it, team. And the fact that it has many users across different countries. So there are certain things that are very critical for this application. As we get into the dev process, I don't know if this is built in what, .NET or Java, or they used, a different CMS like content management system. I don't know. Then is it all right to test without knowing the dev process? And if you notice, team, there's some, underlining assumptions that I'm making all through this journey. One is we are looking at web UI of applications, AUTs. Okay. Now, yes, we will get into other performance testing or those things a little back end, but as long as that is thing for web UI should not matter. Am I serious about this one, team? Very controversial topic. Think about it. When I do not know not dev process, tools, technology, what it is built on, can I still test it? Why? Absolutely yes. All that you need to do if it's a web-based application is to understand the functionality. And for any web-based application, whatever be the backend programming language that it is developed, when it gets rendered on your browser as a web application, as a HTML file, when you look at right click on that application and say view page source, it shows you all about that application in a HTML code, in a JavaScript, and wherever, depending on whatever they want the information to be shown, right from English to code to programming scripts, is all out here, team. When we want to work on this application, you're looking at this front end. So my basic testing is fine, is workflow should be well known. That's most critical. Now, that is where one of the first Q activities comes in. Understand your application under test. That is overall the complete application, right? Now, is it logical for us to understand this whole application as is? How do I do it, team? How do I understand such a large application? What we do is we can break it into pieces. For example, I have jobs, companies, salaries, interviews. Isn't it almost the similar thing out here? So these are the 4 highlights of what they want to do. And there's also now a know your worth, maybe 5 of this. And then there is a typical thing like, your sign in or sign up, how you do it. And if you're a client, you have certain things. So what am I basically doing, team? I am trying to identify certain key functionalities or features that is provided by this application. You understand? So the whole application can now be broken down into these circles, and let us call them as modules, team. All right. Any application that we break down further, break the AUT into independent or individually important piece of a piece is correct word of the app functionality. So we are talking about almost 1 module for each. Now, give me a number, team. How many modules can an application like Glassdoor have? Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, about 15, 20, unless there are more and more. So the size of the application typically can depend on the size of the modules. Right, everyone? All with me? You're all understanding where we're getting to so far? So each of these modules by itself can be thought of something to test, something to test with a given set of features, functionalities, or test data. We haven't come to test data yet, team. All right, let me erase this. And now let's focus on maybe one. Let's talk about maybe companies or salaries. I don't know. Interviews. Which one, team? Let's pick one. I don't want to sign in and all those things right now. Just pick up one of these. Choose. I'm getting all different answers now. Company salaries, jobs, interviews. Okay. Salaries. Let's try salaries. Let's see what is it. The salaries, job title or company. And this is interesting. Let's say I want to put it in Los Angeles. Why just here? I'm just testing that functionality. Just taking one module, team. And what am I doing, team? Job title, QA engineer. Let's say this is a QA engineer. And click on this search. Glassdoor has taken me to a new window altogether, and it is showing me salaries here. You know, it is not fair for applications to open new windows. The reason is it has done two things, team, in this case, and they should not do it without asking our permission to open a new tab. The reason is very simple. They have run a job search also, and they're also showing a salary range, which is great, phenomenal. But now it's come into two windows, and that's something to look at. From automation also, it can sometimes become challenging. All right. Now we have this where we can see numbers, and that's good. And we can maybe edit it and see if it changes. So if what was it earlier? If I added, oops, see now, it's going back into this. Will it come? Hello, reload. Okay, there you go. 84,633. If I say 10 to 15, 85,000. So it is not bad. Why is it blocking it? To filter salaries for QA engineers, sign in or register. See, nice. You understand how this application is being built, team? Right? Now, great. What is the second most important thing after we've understood the application and we've divided them into, break the application down. So the first is application and test, okay? And then modules. Unless we break it down into modules, team, you cannot further classify. There's too large team. Even development does it. Development does it module by module, team by team. They take one thing at a time. And they have to put them all together. That is where it becomes challenging, especially test data and so on. Now, for these modules, each of them, what do I break them into? Each module shall contain a series of functionalities to test. Okay, we're talking about QA activities, team. We've gone directly. I'm not talking about the entire Sdlc. I don't think I've spoken about, but we're generally speaking about how we're getting there. We know that we're coming into the QA activities. For those of you just understanding, in case how we're getting here, QA to the QA, we're starting with a pane that gets transitioned into a requirements. The requirements will then become a good documentation and which will complete a design. A design will say how to write the code or where to write the database, what do we take, how do the entire architecture of the programming come together. Then there is a significant amount of programming or coding involved. Then we basically get into then our QA activities before the final deployment is done and the product has gone live. Fair enough? This is how we're rolling as a process. Now we're talking about QA. We are saying that the application is coded, it is ready for testing. And we're saying how do we picture into it? So the baby steps is to understand the application and understand the modules. You're basically joining maybe a large team of already 30, 40 QA members who are working on this application team. All right. Now each module shall contain a series of functionalities to test. Okay. Each such test needs to be executed with what? With a specific set of test data. That is important, team. Understand this. Unless you take the test data and test it, what is it that we're doing? I'm not talking manual or automation. We're talking about testing, general quality assurance activities. This becomes what we can call as test cases, or in some cases, this is scenarios. I don't call them as scenarios, team, because test cases becomes easily TC for me. Application under test abbreviations that we're writing. Test becomes my AUT, at a high level. Team, where is our referral notes, testing types? In IT, the roles, okay. What is HLD, team? Different things. IT, other IT, I'll say. You're not filling a few of these, team. You have to other IT. What is HLD, team? High level design, right? Can someone tell me what is a high level design? Anything that talks about high level, what is it? What is LLD? Low level design. What is low level design? What is high level design? Simple. High level means what? Detailed or no? It is non-detailed. Like we also call it as 30,000 feet level. Like what? Looking out of an aeroplane. You're getting the basic perspective, all right, of the things at a long sight. All right. Low level design, very detailed. We're not talking about maybe 100 feet level. All right. Somewhere in between can be so and so. So this basic is very important, team. For a lot of people, they think high means detailed. So when I say the word high level, it does not mean it is detailed. Understand your application and test at a high level. Get to know the core. And team, I'm documenting a lot. The reason is each of these words have to be something that you have to feel comfortable and speak. I have not even started using some of the more important jargons. So M becomes my module, team, kind of just abbreviating things. Now my test cases that way become TC, and that is easy. The reason is, what is a test case? And team, how many of you have no idea about software testing in this audience? Even if you don't, I think we're getting there. But let me see this. Quick poll, team, while I'm writing the other thing. Each test case or TC has to be expanded in detail to each and every user action. Please fill in the votes, team, while I'm doing the other part. Just want to know how good you are. The few of you who have maybe no knowledge, and that's fine. We'll talk about it. Or step. All right, I'm closing the polls. About 80% of you voted in. Can I close it, everyone? Our team, please don't vote in your chat. Vote it in the screen in front of you. Thank you. Closing the poll. 80% share, 81%. So team, almost 41% good, 42% moderate, 17% no lol. So I'm looking at almost about 60% of the audience are not very comfortable in manual testing, and that is what we're focusing on. So that's good. Back to my screen, my document, team. So now each test case has to be broken down. What does it mean? I did not just go here to glassdoor.com and do some random steps, right? I did very specifically, and that gave me some results. And how I performed the remaining steps and all that became critical. So this specific fourth section becomes your test step, team. Okay. Think of it like this, like a pyramid. All right. So your application under test is built finally about all test steps, which become test cases, which becomes modules. So when I build something about the application to test, for me, what is very important is First question that anyone will ask is, what should I test? Right? I mean, what is priority right now? What is important? Where should I start? What should I test? What is it that we kind of get towards asking? Now, while we are still focusing on to getting that, you can still prepare some of that work. In your first project that we're doing here, where did I put this document? Project plan for numbers. Okay, we're getting there. Ding, 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 ding. This document has to be cleaned up because I didn't write it in the right order. But then that doesn't matter for now because I wrote a few things on the screen, team, remember? So here, I'm going to create a Google Sheet, team. Now I'm saying that I want to talk about the application and everything about it, right? So I'll say this is my AUT manual testing. I'll call it as effort for now. I'm stepping back a little bit more to go more basic now that I executed that whole team. So for that application and test, manually for me to test, how would I do it? I want to write the details about this. So I know I have to talk about the application and the test. For that application, I may have a module under which I will have test cases, which will have test steps. Fair enough, everyone? So far, one of the core reasons I've been focusing on doing these little bit, how I'm organizing these Google Sheets, is you have to be a master in Google Sheets, team. Do not forget that. Okay? You cannot forget to master MS Office / Google G Drive. Okay? Excel is a mandatory for you. I'm not talking macros and pivot tables and all that. Don't worry. The basics are. So is your HTML team skill. The basics are important. If you don't have the fundamentals on this, which we will learn as much as we can, it can be a little challenging team. How much time do we have? Wow, we've completed 2 hours, team. I'm almost towards the end, but what I want to do here is in this sheet that now I've created, I will talk about specific functionalities. What is my application under test? It is Glassdoor, right? So I'll just put this here. What is the module that I want to talk about? Salaries. Let us say there's this module called salaries under which we want to test. What do I want to test? To see if how much salary QA engineers get in LA. This is my test case. How much salary does a QA engineer get in LA? And for this, what are the steps that I have, team, to execute? Someone has to teach me about the application. There is always going to be the first day of every employee towards a project or every team member, right? You have to understand where it all started. Let me see how the questions. I'm going to take another couple of minutes. I have to take Q&A, team. I haven't answered your question. So now for this, we will write test steps. Okay. And then comes your result, your actual result. And then they'll say expect. And Tim, this is kind of a farce. You just have one thing. What is it that you expect? All right. And any kind of a report that you want to generate or defect. This is going to be something that we're going to fill now. Now for this test case, there are multiple steps, team. What are the steps? Think about it. Open Chrome, go to application and test, enter, click salaries. I'm not looking back at the application because I remember. Type QA engineer, change location to LA, click search, get the salary details. Wow. So now this is my entire test case, team. So for this test case, here are my steps. And this is under the module salaries. And then there's everything is under Glassdoor. Now I may have, team, I'm going to take 5 more minutes if that's fine. And then we'll get into QA because are you all active with me? Are you all participating? I need to have one more question, poll question. I'll quickly do that too while I capture some. Let's go back to this document. Where are we? A lot of documents. I want to create one more, which does almost the same thing. See what we did? We went here, we finished, put all these details, we came here, and we got these details, right? Now, what if I changed, right, from Los Angeles to New York? New York. See, New York, New York. And search. Then what happens? So I'm running the same test. If you look at it, right? What is changing in this team? Get in New York is out here. And open change location to New York. That's it, right? Isn't that what we're primarily doing? Here's one test case. Here's another test case, which is slightly different. What is it different in team? It just carries a different data. This is searching for LA, this is searching for New York. Now I may change this to Selenium and so on. This is basically my first step. Oops, sorry. I don't know if you couldn't see my screen for a minute or two, team. Sorry about that. Let's see, where are my questions? Now you can, right, team? Yes. So what I did is when I went to Glassdoor here, I said, if I change this to New York, New York and research, what will I get? And I got a new value. All right. When I look at my documentation, I just copied that first few rows, pasted it, and I changed only two things. I changed this to New York here and the search here to change location to New York. Everything else kind of remained the same. Now, for us, this is fundamentally a basic building block of testing team. You go anywhere, you do any tool, this is primarily what you will have to look at. Now, sometimes AUT might not be there, module might not be there. Improvements on this core is what we're looking at. And this is where we're going to spend a lot of time. All right. Oops. And here, let's increase this size to 12. All right. So when we come back tomorrow, team, we'll focus a lot more on these and we will continue from here. We are still at the very beginning of day one. By tomorrow's end, this will be a much more developed sheet and we will start learning about how we go and test the same on the application. Then day 3, we'll start with Selenium IDE. Then we'll go into Catalan. Day 4. So basically, let's structure that rough agenda. Rough agenda. I think in this document itself we'll put it in, so that's easy. So day 1 is intro to IT and QA, and we're kind of getting into it. What I want to do, I'm putting it here. Day 2, complete the Excel format for writing awesome test cases. So why am I seeing so many questions? So team, there are some questions that have come up. I'm going to answer that. And once I answer this question, you'll know what kind of questions I'm expecting and what I'm expecting from you. Complete the Excel format for writing awesome test cases. Day 3 will look into Selenium and Catalan IDE. And also we'll look at challenges of manual testing. Day 3 Selenium and Catalan IDE. Basics of automation testing. We'll talk about ERA. All right. Then we can talk about day 4, where we do advanced Excel test Excel, and that will help us to understand automation test frameworks. And then day 5, we can look at AnyAUT UI, and somewhere here we'll also have to add Jira. We'll add Jira somewhere here, team. Let's take a look at maybe not day 2. Let's look at Jira. Maybe let's look at Trello also. At least I'll show you a working demo of some versions that we have. So basically, all this will help you to do test management. So we'll have to get into understanding test management tools team. So I think this is where we can then look at Jira. Okay, so copy it here. Now, team, there's a question that has come like this. Now, for example, do we have to create login in this AUT Glassdoor? Number one, team, I emphasize, like I'm saying, right? Please do start with I'm so specific on this. In general, when it comes to my teams and my project work, so I'm just guiding you. Small mistakes also, if you see a possible improvement, please do. I'm not taking names. It's just a common feedback. Do we have to create login in this? So login could be maybe like this or like this. Yeah, either way is fine. In this application and test, which is Glassdoor. So, comma, Glassdoor. Now, this is how I want you all to frame your questions and sentences. It is very common. So don't think that since we're putting it in chat, we are like, let it be a little bit more formal. I'll appreciate that too. Now, to answer this, the answer is with you. So I would want you to avoid such questions to me because look at it this way. How will I think? Number one. And I want you to always think about how your project leads or managers, your team members will think as well. One, Glassdoor is an open application, right? You have as much access to it as I do. That is number one. Second, to do any kind of testing, yes, we will need test data, like create login credentials and so on. Why not? Just create. So when you're running some tests, you can run it against your data. You'll be able to execute at least what is open. You don't have access. So of course you will need to. Now, who will build the data? You will have to build it as you go along. All right. Jira, Trello, AnyAUT UI. And then J6. We will also have to start with project work somewhere in between. We'll go a little bit more in depth into implementing. That is good. All right, so that's how it is, team. Day 7 is still roughly planned. All right, now I'm open for questions. Questions that are asked here. Maybe I'll go through them, and then I would want someone to ensure that this is getting filled, team. Let me close this. This is a skill gap, so I need this. So this is primarily what we were covering in our day 1. That document is there. This is JPAG 8. This was the orientation session. I hope it has all the changes that I've reflected. That's good always. AnyAUT dashboard. I think we have referenced all this. Okay, there you go. You have the FAQ. So the questions, team. Any questions that you think are important, let me go through them. If you have further questions, please go ahead and start filling it right here itself. I'm going to copy this and put it back into the chat. Let's get into the Q&A now. Fine to all? Okay, let me go question by question. Let's see. Oh, come on, team. Who's doing this? I'm doing it, I think. Did I do it? Someone's doing something. Okay, this is me. Who put this? Guys, how can you not be careful? Second time you're all doing it. You would know what you would do it, right, on your machine? And it's easy for us to just go back and look at, these reviews and see who's doing it. So please be careful on that. How the team is formed, basically based on time zone. That's one, because it's critical. Time zone, free schedule, skills, not very critical right now, because not very critical, because we look still at the basic training. All right. Is that exam test to be decide how much we have learned? Oh yes, that's exactly what we're saying. ACT training, certification, and project. So basically, there is this training plus test plus project equals ACT certification. All right. Are the trainings repeated one? Are the trainings a repeated one on all days? We have schedule. Check the schedule on go to webinar. Have you go to webinar link, right? Is the webinar. Since you're all already attending through it, it's easy for you to check the link status there. So please, some of these sessions now, try and help yourself, please. Copy registration link. And this you would have it then. All right, thank you. Do we get all live recording? Yes. Will you share any material? I'll ask Pavan. Link, please. Go to ITLearn, you should find it. Will you share any material to practice? Yes, in G Drive. All assignments, materials, whatever we're doing, I'm going to put it in G Drive team. And on cloud apps like, AnyAUT, Jira, Trello, whatever you're doing. Are we also doing automation or just manual? You can do either. I'm starting with manual. Right. So team, I'm sure a lot of you, I'm not sure how many of you are aware of my profile and the background, because I don't kind of get into that too much, team. I'm assuming that you've done your background checks and all that. Let's focus more in terms of how we're doing it. So that's why I don't introduce. I'm starting with manual, very basics. We're going then to automation. Okay, so this ACT free training is all the manual portion that we're doing. Will you provide some assignments after each training? Answered. So please check if there are questions answered before you put them. Thank you. When we are doing live project, can we do project after training hours also? Exactly. So here is how it is, team. After day 2, yeah, after day 3. So tomorrow, same thing. I will set up everything. I will kind of create templates for you. And I want you to start then working on a project and assignment with others. Now, there is one thing that I've not yet asked you to fill in, team, is your information. Okay. I don't want all the information, and that's why I want to keep it a little private so that it's not visible. So maybe I'll create a Google form. You can put it through that. It is for me to divide you into teams. Okay. Actually, I can do it quickly. I'll just put it here. There's 3 columns that I need. All right. What is it that, okay, team details. So team, please don't put your phone numbers or emails for now. Just name, all right, location, available time. Now, I think we did this earlier. Did you fill this details? Times. Okay, so fill this details for me, please. The reason is I can then divide you into groups. Okay. Anyone has a question that requires you to be unmuted, raise your hand. Still, a lot of questions are about the training rather than the topic, right? So if there's something relevant that we can talk about the topic, technical questions, team, that is interesting. I would love to spend a lot of time on that. So team, I've shared, just put in your name and location. I'm going to put my name. First name, last name, please. It's easy that way. It is initial. I'm putting LA. Can you put, okay, location. This is city. time zone. All right. So this is Pacific PST and Los Angeles. I'm here. Oops. And team, all the sales questions also I would want to answer, so you'll hear it from me. So I will take it up, don't worry. But let's go through this training first. I don't want it to be in a hurry. I know there's an offer email or something that has been rolled out to you for till 30th or something, 31st. On that team, I really have to talk to my team members. So you have to please speak. I mean, I don't know, Tim. If you've taken a decision, go for it. Otherwise, I really don't know how to handle that portion of it. So if there are offers that are getting rolled out, they're time sensitive. Otherwise, that's fine. We will get to each of them slowly. Now, I'm there from during the training. Most of it I'm there, right? So that's one time I'm there. Don't overwrite what's already there. Keep going down and just put in your names. And you're fine to add in your last initial unless there's conflict. All right. Now, team details. Will need I think from GoToWebinar, I'll find your other details, registration details, and so on. I can map it. Great. Did you all receive an email about the next step schedule? Yes, whoever is unable to access the Excel, give it to me. I'll put it here because some of you on the road, right? I'll put it for you, Priya. Team, did you all get an email about earlier, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, weekend, on next steps in the offer thing for JFAT? I don't know. Yeah. No, that's very, very interesting. So not even a reminder about today's session, just to the registrants, is it? Okay, that's not good. That's not fair. We could have gotten a lot more people into today's session. Not the GoToWebinar reminder, details about everything, because we drafted a big email with all instructions and so on. How come that didn't come? Please add sales.elearn team. Don't forget to do that. sales.elearn@gmail.com and learn@itlearn.com to your contacts. There's some of you are saying you can only edit and not add. I don't know why. Most of you are able to. I will try and give it again. Can edit is there. So copy link to it. I'm putting this back again. I'm also going to make my team. They're already there. So in here, Ashna, Pavan should also be there. Pavan is not there. Pavan. Yep. Sunil, I think you also need one, but that's fine. Yes, there is email with all the topics and schedules. I think, yes, the email went out, not all of you observed. So yes. All right, team. So I think I'm good for most of the things. Let me focus on questions now. Any other questions that are there? Answered. Okay. How is the JPAC training schedule? Is there any sequence on list of trainings we take? Yes. So right now, manual testing, let's consider till end of next week, followed by Selenium, and then live projects, and so on. And I did mention that same in the first one. So 7th November is when I'm planning to start, maybe new advanced Selenium live batch, and that'll be pretty intense team after we finish what we're doing here. Back to questions. So this is answered here. So I'll put that link here. Any link. Does IT Learn team have specific templates for test plan, test cases, defect, etc., which we have to use in the live projects? Yes, Ashish, we do. But what I will do is we will construct templates. Okay, just teaching you complex templates doesn't make a lot of sense. We will construct templates in the class so you understand the criticality of how things are built, and that sits amazingly well into your head. Okay, back to the questions. I missed first demo session. Do I need to register somewhere else? So yes, you've registered on webinar and IT Learn. So you'll have the access. Is it mandatory to do the live project? You have to do the project for certification. You have to be part of it. We need to see how you work team because we want to be able to deploy you all into projects as and when we get it. For the live project, after we formed into teams, do we have a team leader to take the initiative to make sure the team completes the assigned work? If yes, I would like to be the team lead. We can self nominate and show interest to the team. Do a round robin if needed. All right. Play it one day, play it 2 days, let the others do, have 2-3 leaders. You will see a team happening. I see people with a lot of energy. Very few times we have frictions where we have to step in terms of authority. We don't. We all the projects go very, very focused onto the vision. So that's not a problem. Okay, please provide the link for Google Shared folder in Google Drive. Yeah, no, I can't. Not yet. Sorry. As we go along. Okay, I just want all the documents to be well established team. Anytime I share a document which has templates in it, it'll get messed up. So once we have it, then we'll share it. Okay, where there's lesser edit access. Will we be getting the notepad copy as well? Nothing in notepad, all in G Drive. Nothing in notepad. So team, I think I'll have to share this drive with you all, at least the registrants. Share. How do I share with multiple email IDs? If I give this link, what if someone disturbs it? Can we wait one more day, then I'll give you? I'm giving you all the links, so that should be fine. This is day one. Keep the day one link handy, team, and the FAQ link handy. Okay. I did not get in previous email with the first introduction training. I'm sorry. Do we get an email with details about today's training? No. No daily reminders. I will not. Go to webinar will send it automatically. So you fix up your schedule. Only if change to the schedule. Okay. As of now, we're doing 4 days this week. Today, tomorrow, 31st, we're taking it off for the Halloween. 1st, 2nd, then we have 5th, 6th, 7th, I believe, right? Something like 6 those days, 6 days in total. So we have like small gaps in between. That is good, but we will be learning a lot of good skills. Any additional questions, team? Put it up in the FAQ sheet and I'll answer it. I'm going to pause the recording. Questions, I'm going to take it. Will you teach the advanced Selenium sessions? Yes. 7th November onwards. Do we have any homework or practice to do after today's training? Today's it's coming to it, but then I don't know how many of you still there. Learn basics of HTML if you can from w3schools.com or youtube.com/qtp.elearn. In that, if you can search for HTML videos. Actually, you know what, team? 1 minute. My team put something interesting. Where was that? Where was that? Which system? 1 second. What sheet was that? What sheet was that? Oh, yes, training. It was there in Skype. I don't have that. It had, where am I? The link to all these videos, team. Okay, so I'll have that shared with you. Link to all videos. Where was that? For the digital classroom Hyderabad. Digital classroom training schedule, FAQ is live. No. I can't see it, Tim. I'll find it offline and get it to you. That's a sheet with all the links that we're going to be playing. So you have basically have access to all this. So at least the basic free videos that you can check and learn. That's something you could do. All right. Is UFT security testing, API automation, performance testing is also included in JPAC. JPAC is all inclusive. All the courses from ITlearn.com. All right. How will we will get AnyAUT certification? So there are certifications. There's a e-certification. There is, see again, exactly something similar to this. You could be able to put it up on your social networks and so on as well. But more importantly, we also want to, for the JPAC members, at least one second, physical certificate folder mailed to JPAC. And CSDT, I don't think has a separate courses there, team. JPAC members. So basically, it's a course completion catalog, like a very beautiful blue looking slide with ITlearn this, and it contains your certificate. A lot of members try and keep those certifications, carry them for interviews. So that's there. Yep. How to give some exam. Have to give some exam. Yeah, I think we spoke about this. So look at questions, team. Why do I feel a lot of times you're all not very fully involved? You're asking the same questions. You're asking the same questions. And I'm not about not being patient about answering them, but we're not being helpful to the others team in saving time. Okay. Any other questions that you want to put in FAQ? Any other questions on the FAQ? If not, I'll see you all tomorrow. And tomorrow, let's try and work on team activities. I will be able to unmute you as well, and you can share your screen. Anyone wants to speak anything that is critical? I'm going to put your hands down. Just with time perspective, we already went a little beyond. All right, that's great. Thank you everyone for still being there. And I just want you all to participate very effectively with each other so that we go about interacting a lot more. Thank you all. Bye now. See you tomorrow.